All right, so as always, I'll cover the main three coins that I look at: Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. I'll go over dominance here and there, and then I'll take suggestions from coins that you guys want to see. As always, if I give something, it'll be posted on my channel. Otherwise, it's just for educational purposes, and this stream will be posted on my YouTube afterwards. So let's start with I was about to say Fartcoin. Start with Bitcoin. What's up, Victor? Oh, damn, you joined here? Nice. Um, so we'll do the trickle down method. Okay. So I still do have my high time frame short available, that 96.5K from whenever we get it, because I do expect us to reject from there. On the daily, yesterday we put in a bullish engulfing candle. We actually also did sweep the lows that we put in from a week and a half ago or whatever that was. So we, got the relief. I just don't know how much strength is in the markets to move this higher. But let me go to the CME chart really quickly. Whoops. If you hear my dogs bark in the background, just ignore. All right, so the CME gap was filled. So even if we go to a lower time frame here, um, okay, not filled completely. Here's a 4-hour, but here's the daily. The daily almost basically filled, right? Because we had it from, remove this, from here to here, and we filled about like 80% of it. Just like back here when we had that CME gap, right on the 28th, we filled like 80%. This came and took it, and then now we're going higher. So if we go back to a 4-hour time frame here, okay, um, I still do think that we might have some more relief here on Bitcoin, and I'm still waiting for my short one at the supply zone here. This is actually the setup. 86.8, and then shorting all the way to about 90K with stops above this wick here. This would still be another lower high. Also a potential bearish retest of this trend line that was lost. You can even say that we have, let's go back to a cleaner chart. We have a potential bear flag forming here, right? There's still no reason to be bullish in the markets whatsoever until we get above 93K. Outside of that, everything is for shorting, but you can't just randomly short. So we have a bear flag forming here, and validation would be a flip above this 84K level, and then we go into the supply zone here to short. Now we can draw some fibs from these highs down to these lows here. The golden pocket does line up with the short that I do want to take. Hopefully, the reason why my short position is a little bit higher than the actual supply zone is because I'm looking for wicks like this to punch into that golden pocket, hopefully try to top grab that short, and then continue the move further down. Now, lower time frames, we're still on a grind up. Like here's a 2-hour time frame, right? Let me just break down here to the daily, or sorry, the hourly. Okay, so just looking at what we have currently, this was a 2-hour trend line. There's still possibility of us going down to, I mean, like once you see order blocks like this fill, right? And we have untested ones down here. Okay, there's still very strong possibilities of us going down to test these areas. Now this order block, this liquidity wasn't completely taken, so you could possibly take a scalp short if we do get here. You have a small little range forming. So a possible scalp short can be something like, or sorry, scalp long entry at the order block. Now we can draw some fibs from these lows to these highs, and entry again at the golden pocket does make sense. We already bounced right from it, but I do think that we can go back here to test that and then look for a move back up to this 85K region. Otherwise, this is another scalp long that we could possibly take. Okay. And shorts, a little bit risky. I think we have uh, PP or some type of federal report coming tomorrow. I think it's PPE. Um, so this one's a little bit riskier, but this short attempt is also valid. I keep a tighter stop back down to probably here. Okay, the reason why it's risky is because we already got a decent move straight into this order block, and we are showing strength. We have, I mean, lower time frames, we are making higher lows. We have a potential inverse head and shoulders forming as well. So although this short's valid technically, it's going to be like a 4 out of 10 setup in my opinion in terms of strength. But it doesn't mean that we can't go and do something like this and go back down here, right? So I'm just giving all possible alternatives and back to this 2-hour order block, or sorry, 2-hour supply zone. Again, I'm waiting for a higher short, but this is a scalp short that you can take as well. Now, it doesn't matter how low I draw my lines. Profit taking is going to be based at, if you're shorting, at levels of support that you guys will have to draw yourselves. But these are potential setups. The entries and hard stops does make sense. Okay, so these are low time frame scalps. Again, this is not a market to be an investor until we can claim or reclaim some major levels of support. There's no reason to be bullish until we are above 93K. Right now, again, downtrend. So the dollar is plummeting. um, so again, all pumps in this market are for shorting, but again, it has to be at strong levels of confluence and resistance. All right. Uh, I'm a part of a few servers, and when you get a dip like this and it starts pumping, everyone's like, oh, Bitcoin's up $1,000, $1,500, we have to short. All right. There's a reason why we have so many liquidations. They're sacrificing themselves for the greater good. All right, so you have to wait until trading is an art, right? You have to treat it as an art. It's not, I'm going to jump into a position just because I want to be in a position. You have to have patience in this game, and the best way to do that is to plan your trades out in advance and let those levels or let price action come to those levels, right? So that's how I treat it. Um, I'd rather, grow my port 10 to 20% each month than be in 40 different trades, or like, a trade every single day and having struggle in terms of achieving portfolio growth. But that's Bitcoin. Now, before I go to ETH, I want to cover USDT dominance really quickly. I covered it in my weekly stream, but higher time frame, we have a potential double bottom formation. All right, so downtrend, as you can see, here's the first bottom, here's the neckline, here's the second bottom. Now, we did reject currently from this resistance here. Now, we can trickle down to the daily, but I just want you guys to see the weekly level. Our major level, if we flip and we are screwed, is the 6.12, because as you can see, a double bottom formation requires a neckline, which is this one here, a flip of this, would send us to technical targets of around like 9.5% or 8.5%, right? Which would be this resistance here. Okay. Now, if that happens, then we're talking about a potential larger inverse head and shoulders. Okay, so like if we can go back up there, then we have this range, which was a previous range at this point. And then, at that point, like if we create an inverse head and shoulders, we are confirmed, deeper into a bear market. But we're going to take it level by level, and looking at this on a daily, we closed yesterday as a bearish engulfing candle. And, you guys can see what happens when we had bearish engulfing candles before. Right, we went further down. Here's another one, went down. Here's another one, we went down. Just examples of them forming. And here's one here. So it's a good sign that, we had a huge move to the downside and people are actually stepping in and buying. So this is a good time to, in my opinion, we had a huge move down. ETH is almost at zero. It's a good time to, start allocating into spot positions, which is what I did. Doesn't mean the bottom is in, but if you believe that we are going to go higher and, Trump continues to bully people into forcing his hands, then if we do get a pump, then, you at least you are exposed in somewhat of a position, right? So this isn't a great time to not buy, but I also wouldn't suggest just being completely sidelined unless you have no money or you want to wait for a confirmed trend before, buying. Then that's fine. But I do think this is a good time to at least start, squabbling into positions. All right. So where do we possibly go from here? Well, we have a huge OB and demand zone here. All right, so that's going to be a first possible touch, but even on the daily, this isn't an uptrend, so we haven't really lost the bullishness of since January of this USDT dominance, right? So if we do, if you buy here and we do come back into this OB, that's where you want to most likely sell or offload some positions and look, to getting back in once we hit resistance again. Or if we do something like that, that's your trigger to go ahead and get into more positions. All right, but demand zones have been holding, and this whole area basically from 5 down to 4.5 is going to be a very, very strong area to bounce in terms of dominance. Okay, now let's take a look at Ethereum. My phone went off when I said Ethereum. We got to start this one on the weekly, right? Now, also cover this in my weekly stream. The trend has been lost on ETH, all right? We had our first weekly closure below, and this continues to go to the downside. And honestly, there's no reason why this shouldn't go down to this area here. There's absolutely no buyers. There's no strength. Every pump on ETH is going to be a shorting opportunity. We have higher levels where we can go ahead and short. For example, the supply zone. There's no reason to talk about that level until we start reclaiming major levels of support. Our main level of support that we need to reclaim is this 2200. It was previously support here. We had huge bounces, right to highs. Again, bounced right from it. So if we go and trickle down to a 3-day chart, for example, okay, look how whenever we close below it, we rejected, which is also the bearish retest point of this trend line that was lost. That is going to be the first major hurdle for ETH to get over before we go higher. So really, there's no reason to long ETH here. I think this is like the weakest of the week. I'd rather look for shorts on ETH than look for longs, but even that, like, this has been down so much it can get like a quick rally. So picking shorts on this one and picking longs on this one is going to be very hard. So I personally recommend to stay away from ETH uh, in terms of leverage, because there are better coins to trade in terms of volatility as well. And if you want, just accumulate this on spot. Yes, it's going to get a move to the upside eventually, but I think, if Bitcoin goes down, the risk of going down are much higher than going up. So if you want a sweet spot to buy ETH, anywhere from 1800 down to 1500 are going to be your buy zones. Lose this 1500 area, then you know, good luck ETH, right? So I'm not going to give any potential plays on this, because this is complete dog shit. But basically, you know, I have these bids on spot as well, still waiting for it. Only got my entry, but this is where I'd be looking to buy this yellow zone. ETH is still better than Sol. Okay. Now let's take a look at Sol. Same thing here, right? So first time in forever that and by forever I'm talking about January of last year, that we have lost this trend line on Sol. Okay, we actually still are holding this major level of support. Okay, but as I mentioned, whenever we have multiple touches of support, it gets weaker and weaker. This candle is absolutely disgusting. All right, so this will be my favorite coin to short if we get a pump. Okay, maybe the convicted felon in office um, does something that we can short it a little bit higher. But um, like, that's a huge supply zone. Again, inorganic movement by the fucking retard in office. If we get a pump into this a little bit higher, basically 144 to 150. 150 is a psychological level. Okay, um, and strong resistance. Basically, 144 to 150 is where I am looking to short this. Okay. Now I like this 12-hour chart, and the reason I want to take this short in this area is this 12-hour OB. I have it on a different chart, but I'm drawing this from scratch. Okay. So something like that, and then further down. Now, again, inorganic movements like this, it makes it very hard, but you had a supply zone there, perfectly tapped it, and I'd be looking for this OB. Now, this could easily be another, like I said, this is a very, very important level to hold here. Otherwise, lose this, we will go to that sub 100K level. And I'm waiting for the 106 down to $80 level that I'm waiting for my spot bids to fill. But this demand zone has been holding relatively well, so this is for continued bidding if we get it. All right, but in terms of shorts, waiting for this to fill, and I'm not really interested in longs unless it's spot positions, because you got bear flags after bear flags forming here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, if you have your resistance lines, perfect rejections off resistance, even OBs, I highly suggest, like, I know a lot of people are struggling, me myself included, to get a read of the markets, because you know, all Twitter fingers has to do over there is just post something or say something, whether it's, you know, on Twitter or the grinder of truth social of social medias, Truth Social. All he has to do is post something for something to happen, and you know, any movements um, up in terms of bullish movements up, again, are just going to be shorting. But I would suggest, if you are having a hard time trading this market, to up your understanding of TA, because, you know, technical analysis, although is not being respected to a degree, once we calm down with all of these, you know, headlines and stuff, we will go back to trending price action. So um, I again, like, I would suggest understanding and setting trades and levels and waiting for them to come to you, waiting for price to come to your levels, and then just trade that. Because if you had set this level, right, previously support here, turn to resistance, perfect rejection of that, and then, you know, you got a nice move down. But um, again, I'd rather favor spot positions in terms of exposure to the upside and looking for short positions on leverage to the downside. All right, so um, if we got any Sol Maxis in here, I'm sorry, but your coin is going to zero. Longs would be in that area, but I'll post this one here. I don't see anything. Maybe there's a short scalp that you can take here. Okay, but outside of that, I'm not seeing anything else in terms of in longs. SR point there, resistance, entry, DCA, stops above like 142, and then target back down there. Okay. Now, all the charts are going to look the same, right? You have a huge move to the downside, and then again, another higher or a lower low put in. People are thinking finally this is going to be the breakout. The only coin that has had a recent breakout is actually Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin has had its first breakout of this downtrend since, you know, this, you know, huge move up to here, and then this the actual breakout happened yesterday. All right, but again, we are still in a downtrend, so um, I don't really see these huge moves happening to the upside to be bullish yet. But there are a few coins that are doing extremely well. Um, and for some reason, one of those coins is Sui. Got a nice reaction from, right, this weekly order block here. But let me go to a clean chart. Okay. Coins like Sui have been hammered so hard that on the slightest pump for Bitcoin, um, like for example, Bitcoin was up like 4%, and Sui put in, you know, 8% pump. Now again, straight into an order block slash supply zone, but these are the coins that you want to focus on. And how do you find these coins? Well, one, you want to see what coins on your, you know, watch list are holding well when Bitcoin's going down, but you also want to understand the BTC pairing. Okay, so if this chart looks bullish compared, you know, to Bitcoin, right now, not anymore. It looks like another bear flag forming. Trend line has been lost. So if Bitcoin goes down, this chart will actually, SUI on the USDT pairing will go down much harder. But you want to find BTC pairings that are strong, and you want to focus on just milking profits from that one coin. Now, I'm not going to go through a million BTC pairings to see what's strong, but if you here, let's take a look at Aave, for example, because no one else mentioned it, but this one also looks disgusting. Okay, now we are about to close below this major support for the first time. A quick pro tip: if the BTC pairing is at resistance, okay, and the USDT pairing is at resistance, and BTC is at resistance, if that we have a rejection on Bitcoin, right, it's going to translate to the USDT pairing getting hit much harder. So understanding BTC pairings will give you the edge in the market because you can see which coin is holding relatively strong. When Bitcoin's going down, avoid shorting those coins and focus on longs for those. But you're also able to see which coin is going to be, the best indicator to look for shorts. If for me, when Bitcoin, the USDT pairing of that coin, and the BTC pairing of that coin is all at resistance, it's an easy short to take because if Bitcoin goes down, then it's going to be tremendously a good opportunity to take down the USDT pairing, right? So right now, in terms of BTC pairing, Aave looks disgusting. Okay, we had strong levels of support here. We're about to close below, still in a downtrend. Okay, but maybe this is a falling wedge. Right, so this area needs to hold here. Otherwise, next level of support is literally down here. So if this continues to free fall, and by the way, Aave only, or Aave, however you want to say it, it only goes up if ETH goes up. If ETH is a shitcoin, this is a shitcoin. So look, like right now, I guess you could say it's on support because we haven't lost it yet. But if we take a look at the USDT pairing, you can take a look at this on the daily. Right, chart looks exactly the same. So if it is to pump, it has to be here. Now look at this. If the USDT or if the BTC pairing, let's say this is support, if this is on support here, if Bitcoin's going up, right, and this isn't going up, then this is going to be a weak chart. So yes, this is not a coin to go into longs in my opinion. All right, Bitcoin's up on the day. Of it's high about 5%, but right now it's 2.5%, and Aave is down on the day. Right? So if Bitcoin goes down, this will get hit the hardest because right now Bitcoin is at resistance. This is on support. This is on support, but it's not outperforming Bitcoin. So this would be a coin to avoid in longs. Honestly, if the next level of support isn't 21% down, that is your next level of support around 140. 138, 140 to 138. But again, this is only relying on ETH pumping. It's a beta to ETH. Okay. Ando. We can do another comparison of the BTC pairing. I don't know if Ando has a BTC pairing. It does. It's going to be a shit one. No one uses CoinX. So let's take a look. I don't know when the fuck I drew this, but worked out. Okay. Ando needs to hold this, and technically it's still in an uptrend because it's putting in higher highs and higher lows. So this is still respecting the uptrend, and we can actually come down and put a double bottom and it'll still be okay. But again, that weekly is terrible. Let's trickle down to the 3-day. Okay, it's holding this trend line still. The daily actually did bounce from this order block here, but we don't have a bullish engulfing candle. There's no signs of reversal. And even on the 4-hour, if we get this pump, by the way, look to short it. One sec, guys. I got a quick work message. Okay, so this would be a short that I would take. Lower time frame, inconclusive. But again, all charts are going to look the same. Uptrend, no shorting here until levels are lost. Trend line is lost. Turn to resistance, and you can look for something like that. But again, all the areas of potential shorts have already been hit. So we gotta either wait for higher, or it just sucks because there's no real areas to long unless you look back, you know, many months. Yeah, I'd probably look for longs on a lower time frame. I'm gonna remove this really quickly. Probably a potential long here. Or a potential long there. Those would be the setups for Ando. This is a conditional play. When you say there's no signs of bottoming, what are you looking for? There's a lot of things like you have to take into account when you are analyzing this market. You have to see, first of all, um, orange fuck to stop, opening his mouth and saying garbage, and just let price action develop. Right now, most of the price action is being um, moved by this trade war, right? You have a lot of indecision. He's going back and forth between opting for tariffs, removing tariffs. It's just a fuck fest. So that needs to stop. All right. You need quantitative easing to happen. So Fed has to go into quantitative easing. Right now we are tightening. Rate cuts to happen. Right now, Trump is forcing the Fed's hand into rate cuts. That's why he's damaging the economy and the stock market. He wants his way, so he's going to do whatever he wants to get his way. That needs to happen, but also you need a uptrend to form. So you need a break of structure to the upside. Now, that break of structure doesn't really happen until we get above this 92, 93K. So as long as we are below this here, we are in a downtrend, and there's no signs of bottoming anywhere. So until we get above 93K, just keep your short hats on and short every single pump. To be honest, if we don't get above 93K, I honestly think we touch 50K before we touch 100K, unless we have quantitative easing and rate cuts. But I think we go and touch the 50K, the 50s before we touch 100K. Um, I think the top are in on most of the coins, but I think if there's one coin that you'd be looking to hold for the next leg up, it's only going to be Bitcoin. This is and forever will be a Bitcoin market. Okay. I have 20 minutes left, so go ahead and suggest coins. The first one's going to be Ruin. Yikes. Oh, this coin is dead. Support turned to resistance. There's the breakout. There's the retest. 1, 2, 3 touches. We actually have a potential bearish retest in play on the 3-day. If this is your range lows, we're possibly flipping this back into, let's see, deviation here, but we have another lower high. Honestly, if this is the pump, this would be your setup. Here's your mid-range level. Look to short mid-range. Back down to range lows. And if we get range highs, because if we close below here, then you're going to like all-time lows. So very, very important level to hold here. But this would be your setup if we are to pump. Very, very tight stops. This would most likely be a spot play. Even if you get, a move up to mid-range, it's like 20%. Leverage is tough here. We have flipped this back into support, so depends on where Bitcoin is. This is ruined. This is absolute dog shit coin. One sec. So we are very close into achieving the head and shoulders target. Another 7 cents left. But this coin's probably going to go to sub 20s. That would be the area. I mean, if you are going to long or buy, this would be the area for it to hold. I don't see this gaining traction. Maybe a double bottom here, but I'd stay away from this coin. There's no, let me see. Is there a divergence here? Yeah, you have a possible low time frame div. If it is the pump, it's the pump here. But I just don't see strength in this. I don't think there's a BTC pairing. No, there isn't. So there's no strength in this. I think if this is to be bullish, we need to get above 74 cents again. Resistance here, broke out, flipped it to support, below 74 cents, bearish. But also, if you want, see how this is like doing something like this, right? If you want to see a coin be bullish, you need to see a base form. So if we're going to take this for example, where you have a base forming, then you need the same exact thing here to form. So you need a base to form, get above certain levels, and then we'll be bullish. So I don't think this is actually going to be a bullish coin until we get above the $74 level. So this needs time to consolidate and base forming. Otherwise, it's going to continue to bleed to the downside. Yeah, you got suckered into buying this coin. What are some good coins to buy in my opinion? Bitcoin. Like that's the truth. I don't like until we see strength to the upside, there's no good coin to buy. Outside of Bitcoin, it's the only one showing strength right now. But again, I still think the time for long-term investing is over. So everything that you're going to be buying should be a short-term trade. There are going to be coins that do 30 to 50% over the next couple of months, but it has to happen before summer, in my opinion, because summers are generally a dry period. So, Sol can do 30% from here. We just need, in my opinion, first Bitcoin to finish this rally. I mean, you can see like Bitcoin's up or down less than 1%, and everything else is down multiple. So I think enough liquidity has been swept from the markets that the focus is back to just being on Bitcoin right now. Let Bitcoin have its rally. Hopefully profits disperse and flow into, ETH and other coins. But I don't think, I still think we have, leg lower because as I mentioned previously, right? If you guys watch my update, stock market isn't done correcting yet. We still have a weekly divergence here forming. Actually, it's formed and it's already playing out. If you saw what happened on the Bitcoin weekly div that formed, okay, this weekly div that formed here, right, gave a 30% move to the downside almost. We haven't even started this yet. I still think the S&P goes to 5,100 down to 5K first, but until the Fed goes into quantitative easing or rate cuts happen, I don't see the markets having a turn to the upside. So, like I said, if you want exposure, just in case we have a huge move or a 30% or 40% move to the upside, start squabbling into some spot positions on DCA your way down. But there's no reason to buy any spot positions with confidence yet. I think the bull run already ended. I think and I explained in previous videos like my analysis for it. Okay, we already had the fifth wave up, and we're now correcting. If we get a move up, the only one that's going to make all-time highs outside of, a few outliers, in my opinion, are going to be Bitcoin. But if you take a look at previous, and a lot of people don't want to hear this, but it's fine. I mean, they can go do their own analysis. But if you take a look at when the bull run started, and you're looking at break of structure, and that happened here, all the way till where it ended, okay, and you take again where the bull run started, right? Here was where the break of structure happened. This run is overextended, okay? We are almost 2x the amount of the last bull run. So, um, there's every reason for this for this run to be completely over. Okay. Now we can talk about, hey, maybe this ended back here, and this whole entire move starting from down here is the start of the bear market. And then we come down here again, start to bottom, and then go much higher. Maybe we are in a bear market, and it's taking, like, right from here down to here, 420 days. From here, let's say, down to wherever we are, this could be a short-term bear market, right? So just keep that in mind. We are very much overextended. By definition, we most likely will be in a recession, because two back-to-back negative GDPs technically means we are in a recession. So, I wouldn't be surprised if 109 was our top. So even, like, for example, if we're playing fractals here, and I took this based on this here, so we can go and make another double top, or maybe a little bit wick higher, and it's still valid, right? But I still think that the bull market is most likely, like, a lot of coins are put in their cycle tops. So if Bitcoin runs, then I do think like 120, 130K is the top, which most likely will take into effect Q4, blow off top in Q4. How do you think a recession affects the markets? Terribly. I mean, I think it's going to be very smart to go into cash positions after or during Q3, Q4. Take advantage of the quantitative easing and the rate cuts if they happen, and then slowly start to, if you are in, investments, whether it's stock, and again, this is non-financial advice, but I'm telling you what I've done. I started going into cash positions back when Trump took office. So February 1st is when I put out that I sold my long-term positions. So I do believe going into cash is going to be the smart move over the next 5 to 6 months. Right. There's not much to do right now in terms of leverage trading. I think this is just a time to sit on your hands. Like I said, we have PPE tomorrow. We have the weekend coming. Weekends are generally low volume, and nothing really happens. So what I suggest is, if you guys have Twitter, turn on, all the news notifications that you can get. If there are tariff pauses or whatever, look to short those once we have a small little rally. But check this out. So in a downtrend or a bear market, any bullish news are for shorting. Okay, because that means you're going to have a, slow bleed, and then a small rally up into a further bleed down. Any bearish news is going to be even worse. So if you have bearish news that comes out into the market, don't look to just knife catch, or catch falling knives. You have to wait until, you have a move down, and then you have consolidation happen. Right? So just like this yesterday, we had this huge move down, right? And then went up, double bottom, look for consolidation, something like that to happen. Come down, little cup shape, and go up. All right, come down, little cup shape, and go up. If price is doing a slow move like this is where it gets you. All right, slow grind down like this, don't look to buy. You have to wait until some type of base forms before you go into longing positions. All right. I'm sitting on my hands. I have 4 hype, Bitcoin, ETH, and SUI positions that have filled, taken profit. Not all of it has filled. I'm waiting for positions to fill, and then I'm looking for rips to short. I'm not going to be trading this price action here because it's cancer. So look for high time frame levels to short or high time frame levels to add to your spot positions or long, but anything lower time frame like this is indecisive, and I'd rather just wait for price action to come to me. Yep. That's what I suggest. Um, I'm not a great low time frame scalper. I rather prefer high time frame swings and scalps on high time frames, but like this, all this price action to me, right, doesn't really mean anything. Like you have another higher low here, so if you're looking for, you know, that dopamine fix, then this is your easy consolidation, or sorry, easy invalidation long to take, right? For example. But I don't see anything convincing me of going into it with 100% confidence. So for that reason, I'm sitting on the sidelines. All right. So that's it for me, guys.